What's up guys and welcome back to the channel. I'm Andy the Middle Aged Gamer and once again I partnered up with Clutch Precision, an awesome company that makes upgrade aftermarket parts for your German airsoft replicas, and being based out of Germany, manufactured in Germany, it's a really poetic fit for you. Now, once again, they've asked me if I would like to test some of their new products, and they sent 2 products for my VFC MP7 gas blowback. And yes, these will both fit on either the original MP7 from there or the Gen 2, which we see here on the table. Now, with that being said, usual disclosures, these were sent for free. These are airsoft parts. This is an airsoft toy, and this is for educational and entertainment purposes only, so we get that covered. Now, like I say, I'm just going to say right here, thank you to Clutch Precision for sending these. I'm really excited to jump in and take a look. So, without further ado, let's jump in. Okay, so let's start with the first part they sent me. What they sent me was their M-Lock handguard for their MP7. So, as you can see, I've already cut the seam there. Let's take this out. This is extremely light, which I really like. It's going to really bring the weight of the weapon, which is already the lightest MP7 on the market, down even further. Now, let's remove the outer packaging. Okay, so they do provide you your mounting screws, which is amazing. You should get 4. And wow, that is so light. Now, this is their M-Lock handguard for the MP7. It's constructed out of T6 aluminum or aluminium, depending on what part of the world you live in, and features M-Lock on the 3, 6, and 9, as well as the in-between parts here. Now, of course, you do get their logo on the inside, Clutch Precision, and their number and Germany, obviously, because this is manufactured in Germany. Now, the whole idea of this is to bring it up into a modern, I would say, setting. Not that it wasn't futuristic to look with, but over the years, it's not aged exactly well. And of course, as everyone's now gone to M-Lock, it's getting harder to purchase multiple parts for every weapon. Now, having M-Lock, you can swap parts about a lot easier, as most people do go with the M-Lock. Now, as I say, this will fit any of the versions that you have, whether the V1, V2, or the standard A1, or the Navy that we have here. Now, the Navy does retail a lot more, about £40 to be exact, more than the standard, but like I say, you do get the 3, 6, and 9 Picatinny rails rather than the folding grip. Now, if you do have the one with the folding permanent foregrip, well, you can actually take that off. There is a way of doing it, and we'll get into. But that is a conscious decision you're going to have to make. And at this point, full disclaimer, I'm not telling you to do anything, and I'm not showing you how to do anything. I'm not recommending covering my ass, and same with Clutch Precision. We're just giving you the options. Now, of course, first thing we need to do is to take this rail systems off. Now, whether you have the A1 or not, it's mounted exactly the same way. You have 2 bolts on either side. So let's see about cracking that. There we go. And we can now just quite simply loosen these out. Like I say, this will be the same whether you have this version or you have the one with the permanent foregrip. It doesn't really matter. They're all the same at the end of the day. Now, if we take you off, and we can now back this one. I'm trying to do this one-handed. So let's put this down here. Can easily do that. So, take one side. Let's flip that around. Remember, this is not how to. This is just what I'm doing. Okay, so we're going to need more leverage. There we go with 1. And 2. So, same again. We just back these all the way out. Here. There we go. And that will remove our side Picatinny rails. Now what that will allow me to do now is just remove the lower handguard section here, which is great. You can move that off to the side. Now, straight away, you already see that this is looking way better. Now, because VFC kind of did cheap out on one thing, they used the same outer shell for whether you get the Navy or not. The difference being you're paying the £40 for them to actually do the work for you. And what I mean by that is, as you can see here, oh look, where your folding foregrip would have mounted, well, as you can see, it's no longer there. So, how do you get rid of it, and can it work for yours? Of course. All you'll need is a Dremel tool or a really good hacksaw if you're going to go down that way, and some sandpaper. And to be honest with you, what you're going to need to do is the following. You will need to, with your folding bracket, you'll need to separate the mounting screw there, which has the bracket here, and then you have the actual arm here. Separate that, get rid of the arm. Once you're left with the bracket piece, mark approximately 1.5 to 2 millimeters away from the receiver to give you enough, cutting material that it's comfortable without damaging your receiver. At that point, all we do is cut along your line and remove that piece. Once it's off, with the actual sanding tool, you can just plainly sand it down. This has been done professionally by VFC, as you can see, but the principle is exactly the same. Now, does that mean that we're going to have a problem or anything like that? Not really, because, like I say, this receiver is very thick, and as long as you give enough and you sand it down the last little bit yourself, you'll know how far, and you're not going to really see it, because once this is mounted here, it really will look phenomenal. So, at this point, let's grab those 4 screws and let's mount this handguard. Of course, with me having the A2, or the Navy spec as it's called, believe it or not, there is an actual difference between an A2 and the Navy. Not that anyone's going to tell you, but there are just some subtle. I believe Ian McCollum has a great, let's say, video on explaining that. Now, if I put that in here, we can now start to tighten down these, which is great. Just need an Allen key. Okay, so there's one. I'm not going to tighten them yet until all 4 are in. That's the best advice I can give you there. So if we mount that there. There it is. We've got that side. You can flip it around. It already feels a lot more agile and a lot more lighter. Like I say, my whole idea of this is that it's going to convert it into what I would have called the A3 variant if I was HK. I'm not, but in my head canon it kind of works, right guys? Making it more convenient for you guys, making it lighter, stronger in that respect, just better, more modular. And I really like that. The engineering on this is just amazing. Clutch Precision really has knocked it out of the park, as always. So, now that we've got that mounted, we can now take the shorter bit there, put it in and tight just till we feel it's really tight. You don't need to go further than that. It will hold. Okay. It's here. On that. And tighten down. And there we go. We have now mounted our M-LOK handguard, giving enough space to fit all sections in. It's just absolutely phenomenal. What do you think, guys? It's a lot more in profile, it's a lot less. You can now C-clamp it if you're into that, or you can put for a hand stop here if you wish. That would be cool as well, just to bring it in, or you can use a grip. I think I'm going to be using either a hand stop or a grip. I'm not decided yet, but that looks phenomenal, right guys? So, now that we've done that, it's time to work on to the second upgrade. So, let's tidy up and move to that. Okay, so now that we're at the rear end of the part, the second upgrade, and why does this exist? Well, quite simply, the end cap on here is plastic, and the inserts are metal, but they are cheap. Let's put it that way. They're just simple min parts. You've got your stock release catch here. This catch is usually one of the main breakage points that you read online. Basically, when the stock is in its deployed, you've got your shoulder pushing in, and you've got a bolt carrier group kicking really bloody hard in your shoulder, and that little part there gets, I would say, battered to hell, and it will stress fracture and crack. It just happens. It is a min part at the end of the day. So that's your main problem. The other one is the actual body itself will crack in certain parts. So to explain that, let's take this off. So first of all, we are going to need to disassemble this, okay? So to do that, we just need to pull the stock to the rear till its final point there, and then we know where that latch is on that. We pull up on this latch here, like so, pull up on the other side, and we should just now be able to pull that stock right out. And we're going to take clutches part. We will open that in a second, guys. Then, while we're here, we are going to need to cock the hammer. So, let's prep the hammer, push your pins, and we should be able to lift one out, and then we can use the other one to push the other one because it's nice and tight, which is always good because it means it doesn't come out easy. There it goes. Once you get a certain far, you can grab a good hold. Now, so we don't lose those pins, we'll put them in the pin holds right there on the stock. Now, because we've done that, you can see it's already starting to push itself out, but we just grab the back and we pull. It gets about halfway. We can grab all the internals, and now for this case, put it out the way. We can lift up the charging handle, and the recoil guide rod can move out the way. The bolt carrier can go out the way. And here we have the original. Now, there's one more thing we need to do, which is to remove this little latch here. So once again, we need, if I'm right, the correct size. And now we can just easily undo the grub screw. This is what impinges onto the bolt carrier and pulls it to the rear. With that screw out, we can now squeeze these two in, pull that through, and take out our charging handle. Now, we are going to come back to that in just a second. We'll leave that there, and we'll put that one there. Now let's bring in the clutch precision. Okay, so this is their full backplate assembly. So this is complete. You're not going to have to put anything. You're not going to have to disassemble anything like on this or out like that any further. So we take this up. Let's have a look. Once again, it's well packaged. Now again, this is made out of T6 aluminium, which, if I can find the video, I'll insert now. Okay, so you can see their absolute quality is amazing. Now, straight away, the part you've got there, the part number, Germany, and we have the nice clutch precision. On this one, it's a nicer, darker color. It just feels nicer. It's a really good, high quality part. Now, one thing you'll see, we have a new spring, steel spring, and the latch is here and now steel. So that's even better for you and me. It means that we can easily, I would say, have reliability and durability at hand. And comparing these two together, they are basically the same design, slight little changes. That's oval, that's square. Doesn't really matter either way. Really doesn't. But as you can see, it's pretty much built the same way, except if I put that like that, you'll find this one has an actual nicer, bigger spring in it. Now, at this point, we're going to need to assemble the charging handle and fit it back in. So, what we will do is take our charging handle, move it through. It will lock in like that. We can turn it back upside down, putting it back exactly where we had it before. We can grab our little Allen key and just drop everything as we always do. And let's just retighten this in. I do like this aluminium, it's lightweight and it's strong, it feels a lot more substantial. Now, once you're in, tighten it down just till it fits and you can't turn it lightly. You don't need too much torque, not really for this. If you're ever worried, a little bit of thread lock would be fine, but with this being into polymer, it doesn't really matter. And now we have the charging handle ready to go. Now it's at this point, I can show you, well, that's done. The main points of failure was here at the back would crack. I've seen cracking here and on this side. And I've seen cracking down here on the side plate here, as well as, like I say, the original locking latch would snap with it being a MIM part. I think it's made out of zinc or a cheap die cast. It just goes, I mean, I don't know if I can shot on camera, but you can already sort of see, let's see if we can get that in there. Oh, there you go. You can already see somewhere as it's catching in on there. It's normal to have a bit of wear, but yeah, I wouldn't trust it at the end of the day. So yeah, that's great. We have that part on there. Now we've replaced that back end. We can throw that into the side. We can bring our MP7 back because we are going to need that. And we can reassemble. So if we take our bolt carrier and we take our guide rod, we can push that into the back. Now what you're going to want to do is put that into here and lock that together like that. When that's all together, we can just pinch it with our forefinger and thumb. We can easily line it up just so it starts to go correctly in. Once it's in and gets to that point there, we can just easily fit that in, lock that down. Okay. Now with that in the rear, we can take our takedown pins and we can give it a good smack if necessary and just fit them in like so. Okay, so once you've got your pins in, like I say, they are going to be tight at first. You will need to just keep moving the charging handle forward and back, etc., until you get it lined up correctly and the whole plate drops in. Once that's done, you should be ready to go. Now, what we need to do next is put the stock back on. So we're going to pull up on both latches and slide the stock back on. Straight away, that's a lot more rigid than the original one staying in, that's good. So position 1, position 2, and if we want, we can go up into position 3. And just to make sure, yep, that's all down, we can just instantly put that back. So there we are, guys. We've upgraded the rear end. We made sure that that's now made of solid T6 aluminum. It's got steel latches in there. You're not going to break your stock. Trust me, there's nothing that I would hate more than going to shoot someone and my stock collapses because that little latch right there snaps with it being made of a MIM part. Now it's proper steel. It's going to last you a long time. And as you can see now, the profile of the MP7 is just completely changed. So that's amazing. Okay, so as you can see, this thing shoots like a dream. She looks absolutely gorgeous out there. It's something a bit wrong feeling C-clamping a MP7. Yeah, I wouldn't do it with a real one, but of course, with Airsoft, the possibilities are endless. Of course, there are many other options out there apart from a, I would say, hand stop like I fitted. And of course, I look forward to hearing what you would fit on this yourselves. I do want to take a second to say a huge thank you to Clutch Precision. They are an absolutely outstanding company, and I have been so honored to work with them over these last 2 videos. And I hope to continue to work with them in the future because their parts are just second to none. With the backplate, they've brought reliability and comfort of mind to your Airsoft MP7 replica, something that the original, how to say, out-of-the-box experience doesn't do, as you've made a locking latch out of zinc, which, again, the moment people start reading, how to say, long-term use and so on, have realized that that's a part they're going to repair, or the backplate cracks, again, with it being plastic, because this thing can kick really hard, depending on the gas and where you are in the world. This thing does really kick. And again, you know, not only that, did they also upgrade the handguard with an M-lock. They got rid of the old cheese grater tri-rail system that was on the Navy, or the dual rail system if you had the standard A1. And to be honest with you, it looks like it should have come from the factory that way, which is really, really cool. Come on, HK, get your act together and make an M-lock version of it, please. For me, in my headcanon, this is going to be the A3. This is what an A3 should look like. Of course, you might want to put a foregrip out there rather than a handstop, but that's entirely up to you. For me, it feels really comfortable. It's remarkably comfortable to do. And with the light button on top, it just works. So, again, everyone can get to sort of like customize their own. It's really cool. And I do love what Clutch Precision have done. Like I say, their quality, their fit, their finish are just exceptional. And their pricing is absolutely great. Once again, I'm going to let you know that down in the description below is their website. Head on over there, tell them Middle Age Gamer sent you, and go and get yourself some parts for your cool HK weapons. Whether it's your G36, MP7, or some other weapons. It's worth having a good look around their site. And they do have competitive and affordable rates for you to, how to say, import wherever you are in the world, because they do ship. And that's really, really cool. So, again, thank you to Clutch Precision. And thank you to you guys for watching this video. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Hopefully, like I say, it's inspired you to upgrade your MP7s. And like I say, I'd love to know down in the comments. So with that, please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to go one step further, use the YouTube thanks button. You know, you can donate to the channel that way, which allows me to put even bigger and better weapons on the table. But that's entirely up to you. A huge thank you, just in case. And even if you don't, still, huge thank you. You're all important to me. And all opinions count, regardless. So, with that being said, I've been the Middle Age Gamer. You guys have been absolutely amazing. And I look forward to seeing you in the next.